Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to an old time's sake 4-3 show from our own apartments and our own homes because Blaze Radio, we're done on for the semester. I'm your host, Ryan Blank. I'm actually glad to say the entire group is here for once because Dom's here. Pat is finally back and Parker's here. So, gentlemen, how are we doing?
I can't complain. Life is good. I've been sequestered in my room doing work all day. If I look like I'm about to lose my mind, it's because I am. But other than being on the verge of a psychotic break, I am doing very well.
Dom, how about yourself?
I'm doing good. Sorry, I had to find the unmute button. I'm doing good. It was a fun week of football. A lot of good college games. Some of them were disappointing, but others definitely lived up to the hype, especially the Big 12 game. And the NFL action was pretty good on Sunday. So
And
lots
Monday.
to talk about.
Monday NFL action was pretty
It was
crazy
just
too.
one game on Monday, though, but
pretty crazy.
Thanks, Pat.
Pat, you'll have your time to shine about that. Parker, how about you? How you doing?
Doing all right. I'm interested. I can't wait to play some 2K with Pat later tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't played the new 2K.
2K22 last night to play Parker, and then we didn't end up playing it. We ended up watching Jackass 2. So
definitely a good decision, I think.
So, Pat, we down to do a My League tonight?
Oh my God, you're psychotic. No,
that's the first time I've been called that.
Yes, I know.
Won't be the last.
Yeah, Dom hearing My League gives him PTSD from freshman year.
Yeah, it was awful. So bad.
All right. So, first thing to talk about is college football playoff. The stage is set. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Michigan. Number 3, Georgia. And number 4, Cincinnati. After Georgia falling to Bama by 17 in the championship game for the SEC, are these rankings shocking you at all?
No. I mean, this is what it should be considering what had happened. I still deep down think that Georgia's better than Alabama. It's just that on the Saturday, Alabama played pretty much nearly a perfect game, especially after falling down 10-0, and they were no match. So I think Alabama definitely deserved to jump above Michigan, especially considering that best win, it trumps Michigan's win over Ohio State, considering that Georgia was 12-0 and had just absolutely demolished everyone, and especially the way Alabama's offense had performed. And it also sets up the fact that if Michigan jumped up to 1 and Georgia fell to 3, then all of a sudden you're looking at an SEC championship rematch immediately. And I don't think the committee wanted that. So I think I also played a little bit into it. They also could have jumped Cincinnati over Georgia, but that would have been a rather large mistake because a 12-1 Georgia team is significantly better than a 13-0 Cincinnati team. But I think we're going to get two pretty solid matchups here. I think that Cincinnati's good enough to hang with Alabama, unless if Alabama, the Alabama that just faced the Georgia team shows up, then which no one's going to beat them. And then Michigan versus Georgia, I think you get two of the best defenses in the country, and I think that should be a very entertaining game.
Yeah, I think the committee got it right. I mean, they typically do. They really haven't had a single year where they just flat out got it wrong and there's outrage. I mean, the outrage is going to occur within the fan bases of the team that was the 5 or the 6 seed that thought they had the best chance to get that 4th spot. But they're usually pretty good. I think that this was another one of those years. And, the way to look at it is just Georgia didn't bring their stuff at the right time. They had brought it all year long. I think that there's not really a discussion. Actually, that's a dumb take. There is a discussion that maybe they're not the best team. I mean, Bama jumped them for a reason. But I think what I meant to say is they've been so clearly the best team in the country all year. They just didn't bring it in the most crucial time. It was just losing at the wrong time, really, because that's a loss that you could have earlier in the year, and then you really back up that loss with some really quality wins like they had all year long to kind of push it under the rug a little bit and to kind of showcase how good they are and that they should still be ranked number 1. But anytime you lose to that other playoff caliber team that was already ranked in coming into the week, they're going to get the nod since they only have one loss as well. So I think that they got that right. I think that Cincy at 4 is fine because Georgia still seems like a much better football team. If I'm picking between the two of them, should they meet, I'm going to pick Georgia. And as far as Michigan goes, they seem like a really good number 2. I like them right there. They looked really dominant against Iowa. First half, they didn't do anything crazy, but they really steamrolled them in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. They knew how to finish them. They didn't play with their food. So props to them representing the Big Ten this year.
Mr. Fortuna, do you have anything you want to add? I know you're not big on college football.
Not big on college football. I don't think I watched a single college football game from start to finish this year.
That is not possible. You live with Dominic Stern. That is not possible.
Yeah, and I'd sit in my room on college football Saturdays and do work and stuff.
He doesn't watch the games with me.
No.
Seriously, no games.
No, I don't think. Well, I'll come out and I'll watch a quarter or something, but I don't think I've sat and watched a start to finish college football game all year.
Okay,
However, I did watch the Georgia Alabama game, on and off because I was busy because I had a show that night. But I don't know, man. That Georgia team didn't look so hot. I think ASU could have beat them, honestly.
Okay,
But
let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
ASU would have been blown the hell out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. All I've seen is a loss from Georgia this year. I haven't seen a win. So,
All right, so the committee got this one right. Shout out to Cronkite Professor Paula Bovin because she is on the committee, and they got it right. I think that it hurts for me to say as a Michigan fan that Alabama should jump them, but Dom, you're right. When you look at it, who has a better top win? And basically what you saw was the almighty of Georgia get beat down by Bama. And it was impressive what Bama did. They exposed an offense they exposed a defense, that was giving up under 7 points per game this season and put up 41. So they played great. They deserve to win, and they deserve to be that top spot. I think we're going to have two good matchups like everyone said, because since he can keep it close, then it's going to be a great game because of what they're able to do. That game was close with Houston, and then the defense was able to force a couple turnovers, get some stops, and then Desmond Ridder took over. But if that Bama team that just bludgeoned a top team in Georgia, then it's going to be an easy route for Bama to win it all. That's just how it is, like you said, Dom. But Michigan, 42-3. That I know you could say a few of those touchdowns were scored in garbage time, but once again, they have proven to be one of the best teams in the country. Aiden Hutchinson has put himself right in the mix for that Heisman conversation as he was named a finalist. And the offense, despite mixing in different guys at quarterback with McCarthy and McNamara, they're still able to get downfield. Hassan Haskins was a little bit limited compared to what he was able to do against Ohio State, but Ben Corum came in and also had a 67-yard touchdown run. So they looked really good. That defense is one of the best in the nation alongside Georgia. So I think we're going to see two good games, especially that 2-3 matchup. I think it's going to be quite the game. But before we move on to NFL, I want to talk about that Big 12 championship game, the ending. For those that did not see it, you had Oklahoma State down by 5 with 30 seconds left. Now, 30 seconds left, it was fourth down. With under a minute left, they had first and goal at the 1 yard line, and they were stopped on fourth and goal. Dom, what do you think of that sequence to end that game?
It was wild because there was a still photo posted, and it looked like the running back just had a full step on the Baylor defensive lineman, but he couldn't get in. It was kind of crazy. And to think that maybe Oklahoma State gets into the playoff if their running back does score on that play, and of course they hold Baylor in the ending seconds of that game, it's got to be a tough pill to swallow. I mean, is Oklahoma State ever going to get back to the level of the season that they just had? I mean, this defense was absolutely elite, but Oklahoma State doesn't have these defenses every year. They don't have Spencer Sanders at quarterback every year. They don't have a veteran-savvy team every single year. That's just not the program that Oklahoma State is. So if you're the Cowboys, if you're Mike Gundy, you got to really be kicking yourself because who knows if you're ever going to have another chance, at least while the college football playoff is 4 teams, to get in it because they had a prime opportunity. They had, I think it was 10 plays inside the 5, and they only got 3 points out of it. Like, Oklahoma State, They threw the game away. They had a great chance to beat Baylor. They didn't take advantage of it, and because of it, they're not going to be playing in the playoffs on the 30th, or it's on New
It
Year's.
was.
It's on New Year's
It,
Day.
yeah, it was just pathetic. That's the best word to describe it, because it wasn't just that goal line stand that Baylor was able to get. There was the not the drive before that, but I think it was the second to last one before that. Whatever it was, though, there was another drive, same exact situation, first and inches, and they failed to get in the end zone. I mean, I just can't comprehend how an offensive
Quarterback
play
sneak.
caller doesn't want a QB sneak 4 straight times. It's look, statistically, if you do it every single play, I can guarantee you score one of those plays. It would take the most unbelievable luck to not score. I mean, it would take fumbling, I guess, which could happen, but that's so rare. It's so rare. So how they make that same mistake, because making it the first time on that one drive where they had to settle for 3 was pathetic enough, but the fact that they didn't learn from that and find a way to punch it in there when they truly was on the line and they had to score, it's just mind-boggling. Because, like, look, you can ask the most casual football fan, somebody that doesn't watch that often, maybe they watch every once in a while, maybe they only watch college, maybe they only watch the NFL, you name it, they know QB sneak. Like, just someone who plays Madden knows just to QB sneak it. So it's just crazy that some of the best minds at the collegiate level are just so boneheaded and try and get creative and utilize the running back. Don't do that. It's just foolish. So hopefully plays like that will serve as reminders to just how good a QB sneak is. So I think that ultimately the best thing that came out of that was, since he's still looking really good, Oklahoma State should not have gotten in. So had they won that game, and since he, did what they did and gotten in over them, I think that would have been a bad call by the committee. So fortunately, they didn't have the pressure of making that call since Oklahoma State blew it for themselves. But I think that at least there's that to make them feel a little bit better. They wouldn't have got in either way, but I mean, that was just a collapse. It was honestly embarrassing. Like, I'm not a betting guy, so I don't have money on it. I don't have anything at stake. But as a football fan, to watch that, it's just like, oh my gosh, that's just miserable. Miserable. Can only imagine being a fan watching that.
Yeah, looking at it, Parker, you're right. They should have QB sneaked at least on the first 2 plays. Then try to figure something out, maybe play action into the end zone. I don't know. But definitely should have at least tried it twice. They're at the 1-yard line after the pass interference. They should have gone for it. And that's one of the first things that came to mind for me watching that was QB sneak. Just go for it. And I don't know why they decided to go with around the end, around the outside of the field, trying to get in the end zone. And it looked like he had a step on him too, like you said, but good play by Baylor. Congrats to Baylor. It sucks for them because they don't lose to TCU. They have an argument to get into the playoff, but that loss against the Horned Frogs after they had just fired their long-term coach, it killed them. So that's where that comes from. But also, I still don't think that if Oklahoma State would have won that game, they don't get in unless Bama would have lost. So I think for Oklahoma State, at least you could have said, hey, the odds are against us because Bama won. But going into that, they win and Bama loses, they get in. So
I don't know. I think if Oklahoma State, with an Oklahoma State win over Baylor for the second time, that's 2 top 10 wins right there. You also have a win over Oklahoma. That's another really good win. So I think that the committee might have taken Oklahoma State over Cincinnati. And you also got to remember, the college football playoff is owned by the Power 5 conferences. They're going to do everything to make sure that their conferences are represented.
Yeah.
We've seen in the past 1-loss conference champions get in over these undefeated group of 5 teams. Now, granted, the Cincinnati team is the best group of 5 in terms of resume that we've ever seen. So it might have been a little bit different, but I tend to think that if Oklahoma State wins, Cincinnati doesn't get in.
Parker, do you agree with that? Or do you think that since you would have been in regardless of Oklahoma State would have won?
What I agree with is the possibility would look differently. I personally would put Cincy in. I think that they'd have to be in. I think that, they had the memes of UCF and their perfect season and them being the national champs. So I think that this is a great year to not necessarily experiment, because Cincy has earned their spot. I am a huge believer they've earned this spot. But there's all this talk about, can a non-Power 5 team come in here and ruffle some feathers and maybe win a playoff game this is the best year. This is the only year we've had a legit chance to put a team in. It's looked this good to do it. This is the team. See how they do. And look, if they look bad, it shouldn't represent the rest of those schools that may have big years similar to Cincy and go undefeated. But at least it's a blueprint to what it could look like, and to see if these teams can actually be legit as teams that are in smaller conferences. Like, can these teams hang with the Alabamas and the Georgias and Michigans of the world? And I think that this is a great test that can have a huge impact going forward. I mean, look, there's talks for the committee to expand the playoff as it is, so that's always going to help as well. But I think that it's a great chance to do it with the current format that they're using right now.
All right, that'll do it on college football playoff talk. There's a couple coaching hirings that I just remembered. Oklahoma's now found their guy in Brent Venables, the former Clemson defensive coordinator, and then Mario Cristobal has left Oregon to go to his alma mater, Miami, to be the next head coach. What do you guys think of these moves?
Well, I think Oklahoma did a good job replacing Lincoln Riley. You're getting one of the best, probably the best defensive coordinator in the country. The defenses at Clemson, and the defense is what carried Clemson this year. Their offense stunk. Their defense was good once again. They still went 9-3. Say what you will. That's a good season. It's not what Clemson has set the terms, but it's not because of the defense. Brent Venables is an incredible defensive coordinator. He's going to do great things at Oklahoma, and he was a defensive coach at Oklahoma before he was at Clemson. So familiar with the program, knows what the fan base wants, knows what it's like around there. So I think that's going to be a really good fit. And Cristobal going to Miami. I don't like this hire for Miami. I mean, it makes sense because he went there and he's had success at Oregon, but there's been a lot of talks about why he's been successful at Oregon. It's because he's a good recruiter. He's a good leader. And I don't think that's what Miami needs. I think Miami needs a good coach. Like, you'd seen multiple games just this year where Oregon is being out-coached. And for Miami, they're going to recruit themselves. They're a top 5 program in the country in terms of like the program's history. I mean, them, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Michigan, and probably Alabama or USC right there. Miami's right there with those programs. And they're going to recruit from Florida because if you're a college athlete, how do you not go play college in the city of Miami? Like, that's awesome. Like, very few places that are better than that. And it played at a good program. So recruiting there isn't a problem. Now, Cristobal's probably going to keep some of the disciplinary issues that Miami's had, like, in a better spot. But I just don't think this is going to help Miami, like, play better on the field, which has been their problem. Because they come in every year with this high expectations because the talent's there. I don't think Cristobal is going to change that. And that's why I don't think it's a great hire.
Starting with the Clemson hire, I think Venables is good. I mean, under his tenure there, there's been nothing but success. The track records there as far as the defense, they've been one of the top-ranked defense each of the last 5 seasons. They've been legit. As a collective team, of course, there was disappointment. DJ at quarterback, things didn't go well offensively. And really, is just not to make it about Clemson, but the writing was on the wall. I mean, just to kind of talk about them for a little bit, that Georgia game was just pitiful to watch them try and score. I mean, granted, we figured out how good Georgia's defense truly is, so that gives them a little slack, but it carried out throughout the season. That was a team that couldn't get it going. They couldn't score against lesser opponents as well. Obviously, not to the extent of week 1, but the program wasn't able to do it. But Venables did his job at the end of the day, and I think that he really was the top candidate for them. I think it's really interesting too, because you're bringing in a defensive guy and you're going over to the SEC, and that's what you need. These SEC defenses every year are incredible. I mean, just half the conference alone, you can take the top half, and it's like, oh my gosh, just absolutely loaded with incredible players that are going to go to the NFL and have a lot of success. So I think that that's a great move for Oklahoma. I think that that's the exact kind of head coach that they're going to need, because they're going to have to transform a little bit. They're losing some players, guys entering the transfer portal, decommits are occurring. So I think that if you can bring in a guy that can kind of change the play style of this team, kind of maybe change it more towards the defensive side, I think that that's going to be really big for them. And as for Cristobal going over to Miami, kind of along the lines of what Dom said, I can believe it just kind of from seeing it, from watching Oregon games. He's a guy that brings in a lot of great recruits. They lost a 5-star lineman like 24 hours after he made his decision, seeing the collateral damage similar to Lincoln Riley, and really just all of these big coaches at big programs. That's just what's going to happen. But I do think the recruiting is going to get a little bit better. And I do think the recruiting aspect is similar to Lincoln Riley to USC, because that's another one of those blue blood programs, like Dom was indicating, that they're not going to struggle with recruiting. They have the most incredible facilities in the world. They have so much to offer to these athletes. The history is there. There's so many incentives for these kids to want to play for a school like that. But I think that it's gonna be an interesting transition to see how he comes in there, shapes him up. Hype men, are great. You want a coach that can fire you up and get you motivated. But at the end of the day, if they don't know how to execute, they don't know the X's and O's, and they don't know how to make the guys better and to go out there and outplay and be smarter than these other teams, not too sure how well that's going to work. They're in the ACC, so if Clemson's starting to see a little bit of a decline, this is a great chance for a program like that to maybe take that step up. How well it's going to go, not too sure. But I don't necessarily love it, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad hire. I think that some good could definitely come out of it.
Yeah, starting with Venables, I really like this hire. I can only praise what you guys have been saying is that over his tenure at Clemson, he had done his job of having a top-tier defense each and every year. And he deserves to get that kind of offer and go to Oklahoma because, like you said, Parker, defense is going to be key in winning games in the SEC. And having a coach like that, that's going to really go a long ways. So I think that's a home run hire by them. But Miami's an interesting option for Cristobal. I think that when you look at it, the worries is his coaching. He's a great leader. He's a great recruiter, which we've already said. It doesn't matter that you need a tremendous recruiter. You've got Miami. The history of Miami does a lot of the talking. But having him there might help recruiting a little bit. Leadership is always a key thing with a coach. The better leader you are as a coach, the better your teams are going to be. So that's good. But then you also got to look at the coaching. He got beat down by Utah twice in a span of 3 weeks by 31 and 28. He was outcoached multiple times throughout this season. And I think that is a huge worry. You have to have a good coaching foundation there. And I think there's kind of a lack of that with Cristobal as he continues to get outcoached in big games. You saw it multiple times this year, and it cost him a spot in the college football playoff. That's what happened. That's what it comes down to. So that's my opinions on that. And that'll do it for our college football talk. Now we get to hear from Pat with NFL. Let's start with our team performances and go with the game that was last night, Bills-Patriots. Pat, take it away.
I couldn't be prouder of my team. A lot of people had cast us off after Tom Brady left. We lost the greatest player of all time. Yeah, that's true. After about a year, we came back, and oh my God, are we better than ever. Listen, we're not the same team we were 2 years ago. We're not even close to that team, okay? We don't have Julian Edelman. We don't have Rob Gronkowski on our team. And you know what? Things might never be the same. But you know who we do have? We have McCorkle Jones. Not only do we have McCorkle Jones, we have Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Jonnu Smith, and Hunter Henry. Now, that's just the offense. Let me start talking about the defense, which, mind you, is the best defense in the NFL as of the past month, okay? We have allowed an average of 15 points per game, which is pretty unreal for the entire month of October and November. Sorry, back half of October, entire month of November. So we have Matt Judon, who's a top 3 defensive lineman in the league. As of right now, he's third in sacks, good. And he's like 1 in pressures.
Top 10, yes, but like top 3, you got to take in consideration Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt, Miles Garrett.
I'd say right now the 2 people better than him
Chandler Jones.
I'd say right now the 2 people better than him are T.J. Watt and Miles Garrett. As of right in this moment. He puts pressure on every single play. Every single play.
Double teamed.
I'm not saying better overall. I am saying better right now. Okay. Matthew Judon is better than these players.
Okay. All right. I can get on board with that.
Okay. Because right now he's an animal. I mean, he has been, and he didn't even start getting those sacks until 7 weeks ago. And he's just been an animal since. And what makes me feel really good about the fact that we could potentially go to the Super Bowl here is the AFC is wide open. Right. I don't think there's any question that the AFC is wide open. And right now, the way we've been playing, and obviously we're on a hot streak. Teams go on hot streaks all the time. It happens. Right now, the way we are playing football, I think it would be hard for me to picture somebody else if the playoffs started tomorrow beating us in the AFC. The Super Bowl is a different story. The NFC is a much stronger conference. But I feel good about that. And even our losses, our 4 losses are all, except for our loss to the Saints, are all incredibly close games. I mean, those are the Cowboys game we lost in OT. The Dolphins game we lost by 1 point. The Buccaneers game we lost on a missed field goal that donked off the upright with no time left on the clock. I mean, there was really, we've got those 3 losses, and then we got blown out by Jameis Winston and the Saints, who are no longer a threat to anyone due to Trevor Siemian and Taysom Hill being their quarterback situation. But I am very happy with where our team is after 1 year of hell, which I guess, a lot of people have experienced that their entire lives as fans of sports. I get it. But I'm also, I think what I'm happiest about overall with the whole thing is that this puts to rest the whole, Belichick needed Brady argument, because clearly he didn't. Belichick lost the greatest player of all time and had to totally rebuild his team from the ground up. And 2 years later, we've seen he's done that. It didn't even take more than a year. I mean, here we are 9-4, 2 years after we lose Tom Brady with a rookie quarterback. So that's how I feel about the Patriots. That's my pedestal. That's my soapbox.
They look incredible. I don't think there's really any way around it. I remember sitting in Bill Austin radio studio when they were 1-3, and I said, "Hey Pat, let's go 3-1 over the next 4." Exactly what they did, and then they've won 3 more after that.
And they've been 6-1 since that.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew this team would come around. I didn't think they'd come around and be the top seed in the AFC, but good coaching wins, talent wins. They've got both of them. That's why they're the top seed right now.
Going into the bye too.
Right. And the fact that they still have another game against the Bills at Gillette is very favorable for them. I would not be surprised if they end up being that 1 seed. I think it's either them or the Chiefs at this point.
Yeah, here's the thing. The Patriots are playing like the best team in the AFC right now and one of the best teams in football. The only team that you can maybe argue has been better has been the Cardinals, especially with them not having Kyler and D out for multiple weeks. But this Patriots defense, we saw them this past offseason spend money, a lot of it early on, and look at what it's done. They've gotten great production out of Matthew Judon, who's been terrific, and then the offense has been honestly shocking.
Also, can we give a quick shout out to J.C. Jackson on defense?
Yeah,
second in the league in interceptions, and nobody talks about it.
He's, in my opinion, I think he's getting up there to top 5 corner status. He has played at an elite level this year. And a huge worry was what's going to happen with Stephon Gilmore out, and then he gets traded. How's that going to affect him? They haven't missed a beat without him. The defense has been that good. And then Damian Harris, along with Ramondre Stevenson, have actually created a very nice duo out of the backfield. Matt Jones has been – last night he proved that he's the ultimate game manager when he needs to be, and he's had some good games as well. So this team is clicking. This team is playing great football, and it hates for me to say that, but they really are.
And can I read you our remaining schedule?
I know most of it, but yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, we play the Colts right after our bye.
That's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, that should be a really good one. Then we play the Bills directly after that. Then our last 2 games are against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins.
And
so we have a good chance. I mean, it's not Miami entirely likely, but we have a good chance to win out.
Hey, remember what happened a few years ago for the 1 seed, Miami?
I do remember what happened in week 17 against Miami a couple.
Oh, that would give both of us the ultimate PTSD if it comes down to that game.
Here's the only difference, though. This year, it's not Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
That is very true.
The infamous Patriot killer.
Yes, but that team's playing really good football right now, and they're proving that they can take that top spot in that top seed in the AFC. Dom, Rams got back to their winning ways. How do you feel? And still got some games left. What do you see for the Rams throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, nothing's really changed, honestly. That's what happens when you play the Jaguars. The team was pretty bad on 3rd down. They weren't doing that much on defense. They got a couple of nice turnovers. Parker and I, we watched that game together, and we were laughing at the fact that Urban Meyer was putting his running backs in the doghouse when they fumbled, and that led to Laviska Shenault getting carries in the 4th quarter, which is just so beyond dumb. I mean, the Jaguars are a dumpster fire, so I'd be foolish to change my reaction or my take on the Rams based on one game. So I'm not going to. Big game against the Cardinals this week on Monday Night Football. I hope that the real Rams that we saw the first 9 weeks of the season can show up. And if that team does, I think you're going to get a really good game. But if you get the Rams of the last 5 weeks, you're probably not going to get a very good game. So for some reason, the Cardinals have played better on the road than they have at home this year. So maybe the Rams can take advantage of that.
That's true.
Parker,
yeah, they haven't
I'll let you go
lost on the
first.
road.
Parker, I'll let you go first for the game between our two teams. Go ahead.
So the funny thing was coming into this one, low expectations, don't set them at unrealistic heights, and you can't be too crushed. You'll get hurt a little bit, but it won't crush you. And that's what happened. So the craziest part about this game is Broncos defense balled out, and they held Mahomes to the lowest passer rating of his regular season career, I should say. Regular season career. And yet they still lost by double digits because the offense is just so incapable of doing absolutely anything. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater did not play very good. I had a tweet about that pick six. Anytime you make one of the worst players on defense in the league look good, you're doing something.
Whoa.
You're doing
the two
something
worst players
wrong.
in the Chiefs made that play.
You're doing something wrong. And, what was funny about this pick six in particular is he gave some effort on this one. He didn't completely just dodge it. He put his shoulder into him and just fell to the turf. So it was still very minimal effort. But, it's a game where the defense was great. Javonte Williams proved he's a top 5 back already in this league. I think that the number one thing with running backs is just that, yes, they're very replaceable. You can bring in a lot of new good guys late in the draft, and they'll probably be pretty productive because there's so many good ones out there. And the reason why they're replaceable is because they rely heavily on the offensive line and the quarterback play, because that allows them to do their job. Quarterback opens up the field by, being able to throw it around. It allows them to be able to run up the middle without teams stacking the box. The offensive line goes without saying. They block for them. They give them lanes to fill. And with running backs, you see these rare guys where they just keep breaking tackles. Like, guys just can't bring them down on their own. One person on the field will not be able to bring Javonte Williams down. And he's in that elite category with guys like Nick Chubb, who are insane at that, or the Derrick Henrys of the world once they get going, the Dalvin Cooks. And he's already in that group. And the thing is, at most positions, if you're already throwing a rookie in a top 5 talk, that's pretty outlandish typically. But with running backs, that's just not the case. I mean, a lot of times they don't have much mileage. So their rookie year and the first couple seasons is going to be the best football you're going to see from them ever. So, there's no reason to hold them back from that conversation. I'm ready to throw them in there right now. But as for the rest of the team, it was just very, very abysmal. It's such a talented receiving core. I think that's one of the more frustrating things is they get outcoached every divisional game. And that's the big thing with them. Pat Shurmur needs to go. They consistently have 3rd and longs. They don't do anything on 1st and 2nd down. They're so predictable. It's such an old school football scheme where it's let's run it on 1st and 2nd down and then pass it. It's literally the same formula every drive. And I can only imagine how easy for a defensive coordinator to scheme up some plays to go get Teddy, because he's not going to be able to make anything particularly special happen out there. So not too much disappointment as far as this particular game, because it's kind of the game I expected. But what I really want to just take out of it more than anything is just Javonte balled out. And I like Melvin Gordon. I think he's a good quality NFL back. He could start for a lot of teams, but I think Javonte he deserves these carries because he makes the most out of them.
I'm going to say this. I didn't know how to feel about that pick six because my 2 least favorite players on the Chiefs, Ben Neiman and Daniel Sorensen, combined to make that play. And here's just the truth of the matter. Daniel Sorensen makes 3 to 4 plays a year that are big plays, and that's what leads the Chiefs to bring him back on $3.5–4 million deals each year. Why? It was frustrating because that play could lead to him getting another contract with the Chiefs. But it was a great play. He was right there at the right time, made the play. He bounced off Teddy's little chip shoulder hit. And if there's any man that should not be taunting and celebrating his way into the end zone, it's Daniel Sorensen after the player that he is. But man, does it feel good for him to get a pick six? Overall, this Chiefs defense continues to get better each week.
I'm gonna show this to Daniel Sorensen, see what he says. He probably hurt his feelings.
He was looking like James Harden driving to the hoop every play.
No, yeah, it was. It kind of was. But this Chiefs defense continues to get better each and every week. And here's the thing. Melvin Ingram has been so valuable for this Chiefs defense. The numbers might not say it all. The numbers have been good, but they don't say it all because what he has done is put Chris Jones back on the interior where he is one of the best in the NFL. Here's how it goes on the tier list. It goes Aaron Donald all the way at the top, Chris Jones down here, and then the rest of them. And that is what the Chiefs need to do, was get him back inside, and he has been a beast ever since. And that is what has been a huge reason for the defense. Charvarius Ward is playing great football. So's L'Jarius Sneed. The defense is doing their job. However, on the offensive side, I continue to be frustrated. Did you guys know Tyreek Hill has 3 interceptions this year?
No, he has 0, but he has several drops.
Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce have sent me into a state of frustration more than I could have ever expected this year.
I know they only won you 1 Super Bowl.
Here's the thing. They're dropping so many passes. And here's the thing. People are so worried about the offense and how Mahomes is washed and broken and all this stuff. It doesn't help that his receivers are dropping 4, 5, 6 passes per game. That doesn't help. Is Mahomes playing like Mahomes? No. No, he is not. But it does not help that his receivers continuously drop easy passes.
Yeah, I mean, the people that say he's washed are just internet trolls. Like, yeah, is he having the best years? Absolutely not. But, you know, does he make a couple
to get into a fight with like PFT bot or something on Twitter?
Does he make a couple dumb throws? Sure.
Yes,
but
and
90% of the time it's his receivers. So what's he gonna do?
Mahomes leads the league in interceptions on passes that have a 75% chance of being caught. With 7.
That's
7 of his interceptions come from that. What?
That's such a bizarre stat. That's really funny.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And
it really is.
And
go ahead.
It's weird because like a lot of the talks from last year was that Mahomes was getting lucky because he led the league in dropped interceptions. So like it's evening itself out, but like it's not evening itself out in the way that we thought it would.
Yeah.
Football's an interesting sport.
It is. And for the offense, I'm going to say it. When your leading receiver is your backup running back in a game, you got issues. Darrell Williams has done a great job. He had 60 yards receiving. Edwards-Helaire had 28. The leading receiver who was not a running back on Sunday night was Kelce with 27 yards.
Yeah, the defense
Hill
did
had
a really
22.
good job with those two. That's crazy.
And I knew that was going to happen going into the game, that you were going to see them key in and try to take out both Kelce and Hill. Where are we? Are we ever going to see Josh Gordon do anything? Because at this point, I seriously don't know.
It's not looking like it. I mean, he's had so much time. He's had so much time.
Exactly. He's had so much time, and yet he's done nothing. Someone has got to step up. Someone has got to be there when the game comes in and Kelce and Hill aren't going to be open. You got to find someone else, and the Chiefs haven't been able to do that. So the offense is frustrating, but here's the thing. The offense, it's things that they can fix. And Chris Collinsworth, I think, said this perfectly on the broadcast. He said, this is a maturity season for Patrick Mahomes. And he's right, because Mahomes has come out and said, this isn't the brand of football he likes to play. He likes to go downfield. He doesn't like to do dump-offs and take what the defense gives him. Here's the thing. He's going to have to do that. And by taking what the defense gives him, that can open up those big, tight plays that he loves to have. So the maturing season, I think, is a great season for him to have. And you know what? Top-tier quarterbacks went through it too. The GOAT, Tom Brady, went through that. Rodgers went through that. Breeze went through that. It happens. So
Tom Brady never went through that.
Shut up. He did. He did. Okay.
I don't know. When did he? What, the one season he didn't play when he tore his ACL?
No, not the one season he
did. Tell me when he did it. Right, tell me. Tell me when he did it. When did he go through it?
Let me go
This-
look.
when
Let
they
me go
went
look.
18-1.
I-
This
no,
feels like
I had,
the
I
Max
had this in my I
Kellerman-
had this in my notes the other day. Let me go pull up my notes.
Okay, I mean,
Well,
I can't think of a period of time where Tom
Let
Brady.
me
did
let me
it.
go look at
While you
my
do that, I
notes.
just want to say that was so similar to like the Max Kellerman thing where he said Kawhi has more clutch moments than Kobe, and then Jay Williams just fucking
Hold on. Looking at my notes.
haven't been with Blaze Radio, and here I am going crazy. I pulled
Nice.
a
You
Pat.
pulled a
Mahomes.
Pat.
I
Yeah.
pulled a Pat. Yeah. Just going crazy, and yeah, no, that was a funny moment on first take.
Oh, that's the year I had it. 2006. Believe it was his fifth or sixth year. 2006.
2006?
That was what I would call his maturity year there. That's
Oh, okay.
that's where it was. I just had to make sure I had that down in my notes still. So
Let's see.
quarterbacks go through their maturing seasons, and Mahomes, he's going through that. But overall, the offense has got to pick it up. Also, Andy Reid is going to send me through the roof. I am so tired of his conservative play. You know what? There's a time and place for it, but at the same time, I am tired of seeing it. That last drive before the half, why not try? Just try. Don't have anything elaborate and stupid, but try to go downfield. You still had timeouts. You had time to get down the field. Maybe add a field goal, and didn't happen. So it was frustrating on that end.
You know
But
what, Ryan? I'll
it's
give it
been-
to you. That's actually if you're gonna give it a maturity year to Tom Brady, that's the one.
Thank you, Pat. That's the
Yeah, no
nicest thing you might have ever said to me.
Yeah, he was 12-4 with 24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Ryan,
I
you
wasn't-
you need the Chiefs to go 12-4, right?
No, I don't bet anymore, Dominic. What are you talking about?
What?
And
Where did he
wouldn't it
mention
be-
a bet anywhere in there?
And wouldn't it be 13-4? Wouldn't it be 13-4,
It
Dominic?
would be 13-4, but he also didn't mention betting anywhere in there, right?
I know where he was going with it. I can read Dom like a
Why?
book
Because
sometimes.
are you betting?
No, I'm not actually. I quit a while ago. So here's the thing. The defense for the Chiefs just keep playing like they're playing because they're playing terrific football. And they're the reason why the Chiefs have been on this 5-game winning streak. The offense has just got to get it going. That is what it comes down to. And this offense, they've got the firepower to do it. They just have to find that way. And I got into a conversation with a couple people yesterday after a round of golf, and they mentioned a very good point to me that Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy have to have a binder in their offices that say playoffs. Because the play calling has been so cut and dry this year, unlike any other year with Mahomes as quarterback. It would not shock me if that is the case, and you see a different style of offense once the playoffs come around, bearing they get there. They still have a long way. They still have to win games to get there. So that was an interesting thing that I heard yesterday. But defense, great. Offense, got to pick it up. All right. Real quick, games that surprised us. Whoever wants to go, take it away.
I'll say the Chargers beating the Bengals on the road, although it's not like that surprising, just because we talked about it several times this year. Teams have rebounded really well all year, and teams that have had like these massive wins, with like the exception of the Patriots, have come back down to earth, and we saw that again this week. But in the way that it happened, I mean, the Chargers were up 24-0, and the Bengals responded with 22 straight points, and then I think the Chargers responded with 17 points in the fourth quarter. So, fascinating game. Chargers now are the 5 seed after the Bills lost, so they look primed to make the playoffs. They're an interesting team because their defense is just not good, but the offense is so explosive that they're a tough team to beat.
I'll take the layup game, and that's the Lions. The 10-1 Lions going on to win, and that was a game that was just a little extra special because I pulled out the Titanic music to really build up the hype. I did it on when it was like 3rd and 2, I believe, and then 4th and 2 comes about. I unpaused the music one more time, got it going, and sure enough, Jared was able to get it done. He finds Amon-Ra St. Brown, good old USC guy, I love to watch. And, good for that team and Dan Campbell. They've been through so much. It's crazy how competitive they've been almost every week. I mean, not every game, but for the most part. Because even in games like against the Niners week 1 where they're just getting absolutely toasted, they still came back and almost won that game. So they've had a crazy season. I almost said up and down, but that involves winning a little bit here and there. So it's not really up and down, but a lot of emotional things have occurred with this team. I mean,
the
we're
Lions might be one of the best 1-10-1 teams.
there's
ever.
only so many teams you could pick from.
He's not wrong, because when you face that team, it's a dogfight. That team is very good against the spread. They keep it close, and they've been at the point that they are just on the brink of winning and falling short. That is not an easy team to beat because they fight. That is a dogfight when you go into a game against Detroit.
They're a great bad team because they cover in their losses. So, they find a way to get your blood pressure going if you're an opposing fan of the team they're playing. So I know that Denver's about to play them. There's a little bit less pressure since they got that first win, and we wouldn't be the team that gives them that. But still, there's still pressure that comes with losing to a team that's worse in the league. So we'll see.
Oh,
Sorry,
you want me to give mine?
Yes, sorry,
Yeah,
I
sure.
had to find the mute button.
No, that's fine. I'll go. This isn't necessarily this particular game because I expected them to win it, but in general, the Miami Dolphins have done a very good job at kind of turning their season around. They've won 5 straight. They're now 6-7 with, as wide open as the AFC is, that's a shot at the playoffs right there. If they can keep this winning up, they're not a bad team. They've finally kind of found something that's working for them. So if they keep that going, yeah. And you will never ever hear me praise the Miami Dolphins again. But
when they deserve it, they're gonna get it.
Exactly. They have been the most shocking team to me this season. So, Viva Miami.
Fins up.
Yeah.
All right. For me, it's the Ravens game. And I'm going to say it this way. Harbaugh should have gone for the tie. I am one of those people that thinks when you're on the road, you go for the tie. I don't think you go for 2 in that situation. I know that throw is 6 inches lower. Andrews probably hauls it in and they get the 2-point conversion. I don't care. I think they should have tied it, sent it to OT, especially because they get that ball first. They were able to drive down on that Steelers defense. I think they could have been able to do it again. So that's what shocked me about that game. But Deontay Johnson continues to prove that he is an up-and-coming receiver, and he's getting near that top 10 in the league level. He's been really good. So that's the game that came down to me as a surprise. Now, Tom, go ahead.
I disagree. Your offense, you have to trust your offense to get 2 yards. If you can't trust your offense to get 2 yards to win the game, then I don't know what you're doing. They called up a good play. Lamar Jackson was a little inaccurate. They were super banged up on defense. Didn't want to trust it going into overtime. Completely understandable. Go for 2. Go win the game. That's what the Ravens have thrived off of under Lamar Jackson, going for it on short yardage situations. They did it again. It didn't happen. That's tough. They were banged up. It would have been tough to go into overtime, and you risk yourself going into more injury. So I completely disagree. Go for it and win the game. It didn't happen. Oh, well.
All right. Parker, Pat, what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts on this real quick before we get into our pick'ems.
I would go for it. I do think, being on the road plays a factor. I think that you don't want to be in that environment any longer. You just want to have a chance to end the game. And, you have a whole playbook. Your playbook is wide open. It's 2 yards. There should not be a single play in there that you don't run other than maybe a QB sneak because 2 yards is asking for a little too much. But that's it. Every other play should be there, especially when you have a guy like Lamar. He's so good with those read options, those RPOs. He's so deceptive with the football. So that is the best quarterback in the league in those situations. There should not be a better quarterback to be able to handle that. So I think that they had the right play call. Just couldn't make the throws. A little bit off. I think Andrews definitely still could have caught that and maybe should have, but I think that was the right decision at the end of the day.
What do you think?
I play Madden a lot, dude. I'm very much under the philosophy of go for it every time. So I think
you're going to go with your Madden philosophy here?
Yeah.
I have a question, Pat. You don't punt much in Madden either.
So, no, I'm very much, if I was an NFL head coach, I would go for it on every 4th down.
Hey, there is that
every play and go for 2 every time.
Hey, there is that one school, I can't remember where it is, that
the college
never punts, never goes for field goals.
Yeah, and they're like 182-0 in their past 10 seasons or something like that.
I don't think that's why they're 182.
Nah.
No, I know, but It's just wild
My
that they just
JV
never punt.
football coach, he believed in onside pretty often. Not every time.
Yeah, they
but
onside kick it every possession. That's the guy literally plays real life Madden.
yeah, it's a
Right,
little
I should
bit
say.
much if you do it every time, but hey, mixing it up a couple times a game's okay.
Right.
So with that, Dom, give us the standings updates. We didn't get one last week. Let's do it this week. What do they look like going into week 14?
So Pat, still in last place. You're 11 games below 500 at 83 and 94. You missed a prime opportunity to pick the Lions this week. That would have put yourself 9 games under 500, but instead you opted to go with your NFC North champion, Minnesota Vikings, and they let you down. So 83-94. We'll see if you can get closer to 500 this week. I'm in second place. I reached the 100-win plateau this week. It's been a rough sledding for me this year. I'm 101 and 76.
Very good record.
5 games behind Ryan, who is 106 and 71. And he is 4 games behind Parker, who's in the lead at 110 and 67.
Parker, let's just make this pact together that we do not let Dom come back. We got to make sure we're on point.
I don't think
don't
that's up
care.
to Parker. I think that's up to you. I'm 9 games behind Parker. I'm 5 games behind you.
You're on mute. Parker, you're on mute.
Thank you. I pick the games I believe will happen. I've had so many where just haven't been committed to teams, and it's bit me. But no, I'm a believer that I go with what I think, not based on what's happening around me.
All right. Let's get into it. Week 14. Thursday night starts it. Vikings and Steelers. Who do we got?
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think they bounce back after losing to the Lions. Fluke game. I think the players are going to be hungry to stay in the playoff chase. I really think the loser of this game misses the playoffs. The winner very well could miss them as well, but I think that the loser is not going to make the playoffs. I'll take the Vikings at home.
Same here. Yeah, I got them for a very similar logic. Look, if you lose to the Lions, you got to look to respond the next week, right? You got to have some fuel and some fire in that stomach of yours, because you got to want to go out there and just hit some people. You want to take out that aggression, because that's a bad loss. That's a loss that could have derailed their season. They might not recover from that one. So this is the chance to do it against a good Steelers team that came off the best win of the season for them. So see if they can do it.
Pat, you going with Skull?
Do you not hear me shout Skull, Ryan? Of course I'm going with the
I
Vikings.
just wanted to make sure you were going with them. All right.
Wipe my ass with your terrible towels. Sorry, serious beef with Pittsburgh.
I can tell, buddy. All right. I'm going to be the only one to take Pittsburgh in this one. Gross. I don't trust the Vikings anymore. I don't trust Mike Zimmer. They should have won last week.
Gross team.
They are a gross team, but I cannot trust Minnesota to win a game after the horrible coverage and horrible defense they had on that final play. Mike Zimmer should have been fired after last year, and if he's not fired after this year, I don't know what to say. I am taking Pittsburgh in this one. I think it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh. Next up, Saints and Jets.
Honestly, like a kind of tough game to pick, because the Saints, they've now lost, I believe, 5 in a row, and the Jets just suck. I'm going to take the Jets here. I think that they find a way to win. They're hungry. Both these teams are hungry for a win, but I'll take the Jets at home.
This is a game where I can see it. I can see the Jets winning this game. I say that with a lot of games, but the Jets have won some games recently. They've been in close games recently. They're a really bad team, but they've had some favorable matchups to have a chance to win some games. This is another one of those. I think that the Saints is certainly still one of the harder matchups for them. We still don't know if Alvin Kamara will finally return after what feels like a while, when it really hasn't been that long. So I'm going to go with the Saints here. But Jets at home, wouldn't be shocked. It's not like one of those situations where it's like, oh my gosh, the Jets pulled it off, kind of like when they beat the Titans. It's like, well, just like that Titans game, I can see reasons why they could, but still not going to do it at the end of the day. Saints.
Pat, who are you taking in this one?
Much as I hate the Saints and as much as I hate the Jets, I'm going to do it. Jets. Jets, baby. Come on. Wait. Is Zach Wilson starting?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Taysom Hill starting for the Saints, right?
Yeah.
No, what a
BYU
matchup.
It is
What a
BYU
matchup.
Yeah.
It's a
Can I
matchup
pick
with
them
the
both to
Mormons.
lose?
Pat,
What'd you
I'll
say?
give you five.
Tie?
Pat, I'll give you 5 points if they tie, and you predict it.
Perfect.
5
Alright, there we
points.
go.
Tie.
I think he deserves 10.
He's gonna say tie.
10.
Wow.
10. Anyone 10?
Let's
I'll do
it.
10. I'll do
Let's
10
do
for
it.
the tie.
Ryan, you on board 10 for Pat if they tie?
Yeah, I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him. If they tie, I will give him 10 points for that. All right, I'm taking the Saints in this one. It's going to be the Saints defense that plays well and gets them the win because that offense is a mess. If Alvin Kamara comes back, which I would love for my fantasy team, then the offense will look better. So I'm going to take the Saints in this one regardless if Kamara plays or not. Next up, Falcons-Panthers.
Another tough game. I mean, these two teams are so hard to read at this point because when they play well, they're good teams. When they don't, they're like really bad. I'm going to take the known commodity at quarterback. I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons here. On the road, I think they get it done. Really tough game to predict, though.
I'm going to go the opposite. So I'm going to go the Panthers here. Cam Newton had the bye to kind of get himself right. He got benched in what was just a miserable game. You know, PJ Walker came in. I'd like to think that with that extra week of preparation, they could beat the Falcons. I mean, goodness, if they can't, don't know what to think. But I do think the defense kind of has a little bit of a bounce back kind of game. They've had a little bit of a 2-game slid coming into the bye. So hopefully they were able to get right because I'm going to take them here. So hopefully they don't disappoint.
Patrick.
Yeah, I who?
Panthers-Falcons, buddy.
Oh, Cam Newton still starting for the Panthers?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, give me the Panthers.
I agree with Pat. Give me the Panthers in this one. I don't trust the Falcons. That defense is terrible. Next up, Seahawks in Houston.
I'll take the Seahawks. Nice win for them against the slightly banged up 49ers, but I'm not reading too much into it. I think they suck. And poor Jets fans, looking at that first round pick, they're going to see 2 straight wins for Seattle. It's going to lower the pick.
I'll go with Seattle too here, but I got to say, this is a game that Houston can definitely win. There's only so many on their schedule where it's like, okay, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to pick them. Kind of like I was just saying, like with the logic.
The Jets must be rooting so hard for Houston in this game.
Yeah, they've got to be. They should be. But yeah, no, I'll take Seattle. I like Russell Wilson just a little bit more than I like whatever the Houston Texans' entire organization has to offer.
Pat?
Russell Wilson is corny. Give me the Texans.
Love it.
Give me the Seahawks in this one. I don't like the Seahawks. I hate their coach, but I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one for their second straight win.
Whoa.
I hate Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll's a
Big guy.
scum.
He is a scum and he is a coward. That is
Patriots
the
legend
only
right
way
there.
to describe that man.
Pete's a
Patriots
great guy.
legend.
Patriots legend Pete Carroll to you.
Give me the Seahawks. Next up, Raiders Chiefs in Arrowhead, and I will be at that game.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here.
Give me the Raiders.
Yeah.
All right, so
Pat, I wish you could hear that in that voice. Oh my god. The way that the mic was picking it up was awesome.
Wow, Pat. I just bought tickets to this game today.
Oh, you poor soul.
I got a great deal on great seats.
You're
So,
gonna watch the
Chiefs
Kansas City Chiefs
are
get
going
pummeled
to-
in their home stadium.
Yes, the Chiefs are going to beat down the Raiders for the second time this year. Chiefs and Chiefs by spread. Lock it in.
The Chiefs are gonna be underdogs. What do you mean?
All right.
Vegas knows.
All right. Next
Home
up,
team advantage. Vegas.
Ravens and Browns.
Really tough game to predict because the Ravens, they haven't looked great of late. Browns going to get a little healthier coming off their bye. I think they come up with a good game plan. I think the Browns do win this game. They sneak a little bit back into the playoff picture.
Yeah, I thought I might be alone on this one. I think a lot of it has to do with just my gut is telling me the Browns having the bye is huge for them. Consistent theme so far in the picks, having both teams coming off their bye, winning their games. It's a home game in the dog pound, and I think that the Ravens are gonna take one more loss to a divisional opponent here.
I wish I could describe to you guys how much I hate the AFC North. Like, it's just the trashiest division in football. It always has been. It always will be. So I hate picking this game. I'll take the Browns though.
This is a tough one for me. But I have no faith in the Ravens. Give me the Browns in this one coming off their bye. I think that week off for Baker, health-wise, can give them an advantage. So give me the Browns at home.
Damn, I did not think I was going to get joined on this, let alone 3 for 3 so far.
Well, 4 for 4.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
saying the other three.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Next up, Cowboys football team in Washington.
HTTFT. Their defense is finally playing. The offense is looking better. Antonio Gibson's the primary back now. Starting to play a lot better on offense. Heineke's making a lot of money by winning some games. I think they're going to split a season series with Dallas. I think they win at home. I'm going to take Washington here.
Gosh, Washington.
Taylor time, baby.
Washington might be the death of me. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. And I had them going 10-7 before the season started. So, it's not like I'm not realizing what they're doing and appreciating what they're doing. I just think that the Cowboys, they're just a tough matchup because, yes, defense is definitely playing much better, which is weird. In Chase Young being hurt out now, they're playing much better. But I do think that the Cowboys win this game because there's just so much that they can throw at that defense. And while it is being much better as of late, I don't think they can handle it.
I don't know.
Texas,
This one's
he
tough.
hates me. What? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw that 2 seconds ago.
Parker, I hate you, by the way. I hate you. I hate you for that. But
Unbelievable luck on my side.
But for this, it's tough. I'm going to go the football team. The Cowboys are not looking that good. They've looked like they're in a rut, and I think that Taylor Heineke's finding a little bit of a rhythm, and so is that defense, like you said, Dom. Give me the football team.
Finally alone on a pick. Okay, there we go.
Next up, Jaguars-Titans. Titans coming off of their bye.
Titans, easy.
Yeah, Titans.
Yeah, Titans on this one. They literally could be down to 4th stringers at every position. I'd still feel pretty good about them.
Give me the Titans in this one. Plus, I believe Julio Jones has been designated off of IR. So give me the Titans in this one coming off their bye. Next up, we have Giants-Chargers.
Fine. I'll take the Chargers. The Giants, very unimpressive, but
Jake Fromm's starting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jake from State Farm.
I'll take the Chargers.
Some Fromm. Yeah, I'm going to go with Herbert here. I got to say, loved some Jake Fromm back at Georgia, but not so much in the NFL. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. This is a matchup where the Giants defense could maybe pose some problems here and there, but that offense just won't be able to do anything. And that's against not a really bad defense, but a pretty bad defense, especially for a good team. So I think the Chargers do enough to win.
Patrick Fortuna.
Yeah, I said go Bolts. I said it.
I didn't hear it, so
I didn't hear it either. I've been taking the Chargers in this one. This Giants team's a mess. Next up, we've got the Lions and Broncos in Denver. Do the Lions win their second in a row?
no. It's gonna be one of those bounce back games. I think Denver wins, and I think they probably crush them. To be honest,
I wouldn't say crush them. This Denver team is just so interesting to me. So I think it could be a close game. I think it could be kind of similar to the game they played 2 years ago against them at Denver. It's at Denver again. So I think it could be very similar to that. But I do think Denver wins. I think that the defense can continue to do their thing, and that'll be enough to beat the Detroit Lions.
Nah, give me the Lions for.
going back to the well.
All right, Ryan, pick, dude. Come on, man. We're 4 minutes overtime. Ryan, are you
You're on
okay?
mute.
Did you lose your mouse? Command D. Command D.
Okay, Ryan said his keyboard froze. I'm going to take this opportunity to say that, Ryan, you look very cute right now.
Always.
Next game up on the pick. Let's see. We got all these. I'm
Bengals,
assuming
Niners.
Ryan. Yeah, Bengals, Niners. I'm going to take the Bengals. I think they bounce back at home against another West Coast team. I can't
Bengals,
see them
I
losing
agree.
back to back.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them too, but I gotta say though, I mean, the Niners are probably gonna be without Debo. I think that hasn't been confirmed, of course, early in the week, but they'll probably be without him. And that's not like that's necessarily the deal breaker, but I do think the Bengals win at home.
I gotta say, watching Panic ensue and Ryan is freaking hilarious.
Fixed it. We're good.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I accidentally turned on this thing called sticky keys.
No.
How do I turn it off?
No, it was my computer froze, not my keyboard. My entire computer froze.
I have sticky keys.
All right. So for the Broncos Lions, I'm going to take the Broncos, and then I've got the Bengals bouncing back against the Niners. Next up, Bills Buccaneers. Pat, we already know who you're taking. You're taking the Bucks. Dom, who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks as well. They've looked really good the last 2 weeks. I think they continue it, and I think Buffalo starting to spiral. Playoff concerns starting to become an issue.
I'm gonna
Parker.
take the Bills here. I'm gonna go with the upset.
Oh,
This is a
you're a joke. You're a joke.
not. This is
He's
a
in
7-5
first.
team. Yeah, exactly. This is a 7-5 team that needs a win. Absolutely needs it. Not for the sake of making the playoffs, because like they're still in a pretty good spot as far as seeding goes, because it's a very open AFC. We know this, but I think that these are the kind of wins where if you're gonna have a chance at still winning the division, have to have it. So this is a game that I think they're gonna pull off.
I'm taking the Bucks in this one. I think that offense is just going to cruise. The loss of Tre'Davious White's going to be felt in the passing game. So give me the Buccaneers in this one. Two more, Sunday night, Bears, Packers. I think I know where all of us are going on this one.
Yeah, Green Bay. Joke that this
Expect
game
the
wasn't flexed
unexpected.
out.
Take the Packers.
I'm going to take the Packers as well. I assume Pat took the Packers, even though I didn't really hear him.
Well, he said expect the unexpected, so it makes me think he's going to
He's
take the
taking
Bears.
the Bears.
Give me the red rifle, baby.
He's not starting in this game, actually. It's
Yeah,
going to be Justin
It's
Fields.
Fields. Fields is back.
Well, now I'm racist if I switch my pick. So
Okay, Pat, not racist.
Okay, Pat.
Not
The
racist.
Bears.
Okay, he's going to take the Bears. Next up, final game, Rams, Cardinals. Dom, who you got?
I'm going to take the Cardinals. I don't think the Rams have fixed their problems yet. I think it's going to be a pretty competitive game, but I do think the Cardinals win in front of their home crowd. This is one of the biggest games the Cardinals have had in a long time. I mean, obviously the game against Green Bay was massive, but this is also a divisional game. If the Cardinals win this game, they basically win the West.
Yeah, I want the Rams to win really bad. And that's not me having any issues with the Cardinals. I'm just rooting for Vaughn. But I don't think they win this game. I mean, they certainly can, of course. Divisional matchup, and they're good. But I think that there are some issues that they don't necessarily have fixed yet. Jaguars was a great chance to kind of figure some things out and, feel better about the team. But I think the Cardinals at home is just asking for way too much.
Give me the Rams in this one.
Yeah, Cardinals on that one. Just want to specify based on the way I worded that.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in this one, too. I think they bounce back and get revenge for their loss early in the season at home. So give me the Rams on this one. That'll end our final show as first semester juniors at Cronkite and Patton is film school. Thank you very much for joining us. To be determined on if we have shows over winter break. I'd like to. Who knows? But if not, we'll see you guys next semester on Blaze Radio. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your night.